The award trophy slips from my fingers. I stand frozen in the doorway of Riverside Embers' private dining room. The glass trophy crashes against the polished hardwood floor. The crack echoes like a gunshot through the silence. No one even flinches. Their eyes remain fixed on the projection screen. My brother's PowerPoint presentation glows with corporate confidence. Riverside Embers expansion strategy. CEO Caleb Morgan. CEO Caleb Morgan. My throat constricts. I scan the faces around our antique mahogany table. Dad's proud smile. Mom's hands clasped in anticipation. And my brother standing at the head of the table in his perfectly pressed suit. My seat. The place I've occupied for over a decade of family meetings. Jovi, Dad says, clearing his throat. You're late. We've already started the annual meeting. Annual meeting? My voice sounds distant to my own ears. You moved it up 2 weeks. The restaurant's 15th anniversary celebration is tomorrow. I've been finalizing details all morning. Caleb clicks to the next slide, which is exactly why we need to formalize the transition now. The celebration provides the perfect announcement opportunity. Transition? The word tastes bitter. Mom leans forward. Honey, we've transferred operational control to Caleb, effective immediately. We wanted to surprise you. Congratulations. Congratulations. I whisper, but no one hears me, not over the sound of my world shattering. This is just the beginning of an unbelievable turn of events. If you were in her shoes, what would you do? Let us know in the comments below. Just last week, I stood under the spotlights at the Portland Culinary Excellence Awards. I accepted Seafood Dish of the Year for my king crab with tangerine glaze. The audience erupted in applause. But at our celebration dinner afterward, my parents merely picked at their food. It's nice, Jovi, Dad had said, swirling his wine, but not scalable. We need to think bigger. Meanwhile, they raised their glasses to Caleb. They toasted his business school network and his fresh perspectives. Never mind that while he visited during summer breaks, I spent countless nights perfecting recipes. I built relationships with local suppliers. I doubled our revenue over the last 5 years. Now I grip the back of a chair to steady myself. You can't be serious. I have a culinary degree. I built our marketing strategy. I doubled our revenue. And we appreciate that, honey. Dad's tone drips with condescension. You're fantastic in the kitchen. But Caleb understands business. You can still be our head chef. Head chef. As if I haven't been running this entire operation for years. While they semi-retired to their lake house. As if the awards mean nothing. The glowing reviews mean nothing. The loyal customers who know me by name mean nothing. My hands stop trembling. Clarity washes over me. I reach into my pocket. I remove my restaurant keys. I place them deliberately on the table with a metallic clink. I'm not just your chef. I built this brand. Caleb sighs dramatically. See, Dad? This is exactly what I warned you about. She's too emotional about business decisions. Dad frowns. Jovi, you need to understand. This isn't personal. It's about scaling the business. Not personal? I laugh. The sound is sharp and unfamiliar. You blindsided me during the anniversary celebration I organized. You didn't even consult me. About changes to the restaurant I've poured my heart into for 11 years. That's enough. Mom cuts in. Caleb has an MBA. He knows what he's doing. And there it is. The familiar pattern. They automatically side with Caleb. They dismiss my concerns as emotional overreactions, rather than legitimate business insights. What's at risk isn't just my position. It's my culinary reputation. The quality standards I've established. The relationships I've nurtured with suppliers and customers. As I look at them huddled together, a realization crystallizes in my mind. They've never seen me as an equal partner. To them, I've always been staff, the reliable worker who keeps things running, while they make the real decisions. Memories flash through my mind. 5 years ago, I proposed a seasonal menu using local ingredients. Dad laughed. We can't afford to invest in your art projects, he said. 3 years ago, I pitched our first major hotel catering contract. Mom said, "You're still too young for that kind of responsibility." 1 year ago, I introduced a new wine program. My parents called Caleb to complain. "Your sister is doing things on her own again," they said. Each time, I bowed my head. I waited for their approval. I desperately tried to prove my expertise. But no matter how much I proved, it was never enough. You know what? My voice is steadier than I feel. Maybe you're right. Maybe Caleb should take over. Their faces relax with visible relief. But remember this moment. I continue, stepping back toward the door. Because when you realize what you've thrown away, don't expect me to pick up the pieces. I turn and walk out, leaving behind the shattered award that suddenly means nothing at all. 6 hours after the family meeting, that night, late, I only meant to grab my apron from the office. I didn't plan to discover the depth of my brother's treachery. But there it is. On Caleb's open laptop, the West Shore Grand Hotel's logo glares from his screen like an accusation. My vision narrows. I grip the doorframe to steady myself as I read the email. Dear Mr. Morgan, we acknowledge your cancellation of Thursday's contract meeting. While we are disappointed to postpone discussions on the $850,000 catering partnership, we look forward to your presentation of streamlined, cost-effective alternatives to the original menu proposal. The floor seems to tilt beneath me. That meeting wasn't Caleb's to cancel. I'd spent 6 months cultivating that relationship, designing seasonal menus, calculating exact food costs, maintaining our quality while ensuring their profit margins. $850,000, nearly a quarter of our annual revenue, dismissed with a single email. I scroll down. Nausea builds as I read further. Regarding your inquiry about modifying the award-winning seafood offerings, we're open to alternatives, provided they maintain the standard of excellence we experienced during our initial tasting with Chef Jovi. The betrayal runs deeper than I imagined. Just 3 weeks ago, Caleb leaned over my station, notebook in hand. He asked detailed questions about my tangerine glaze recipe. Just trying to learn from the best, he'd said, with that boyish grin that always worked on our parents. Now I understand. He wasn't learning. He was plotting. My hands shake with profound anger. It feels like another presence in the room. 6 years of culinary school, 11 years of 60-hour weeks, and my brother could swoop in and dismantle everything I've built. More memories flood back. When Caleb was 8, he improved my science project and ruined it. My parents said, "Help your brother." When Caleb was 14, he plagiarized my college scholarship essay. My parents said, "Siblings help each other." When Caleb was 20, he took a European trip using money I'd saved. My parents said, "You're such a generous sister." And now, at 26, Caleb is trying to steal my life's work. The pattern was always there. I just refused to see it. I photographed the laptop screen to preserve the evidence. Then I open his email drafts. There's the proposal Caleb plans to send West Shore. My recipes optimized. Premium ingredients replaced with cost-effective substitutes. My name completely removed. His plan was simple. Use my creativity. Cut costs by reducing quality. Report the difference as profit to our parents. I copy everything to a USB drive. I instinctively understand I'll need this evidence. Before leaving the office, I open my desk drawer. Inside is a thin leather-bound notebook, my independence plan. I've been writing it for 2 years. Startup capital estimates, candidate property listings, potential investor names, menu drafts. Somewhere in my heart, I knew this day would come. I didn't predict the specific form of betrayal, but I felt that the day would come when my family wouldn't properly value me. In a way, it was inevitable. So I prepared, quietly, carefully, without telling anyone. On the notebook's last page are 3 potential investor names. Michelle, a former regular customer who now runs a restaurant chain. Professor Roberts, my culinary school mentor who encouraged independence. And the local Women Entrepreneurs Support Fund. I take out my smartphone. I send Michelle a brief message. Is that offer still good? 2 minutes later, a reply comes. Anytime. I've been waiting for your decision. I smile. The bet has already begun. The morning after my termination, I pushed through the service entrance of Riverside Embers. 30 minutes before the supplier meeting I wasn't invited to attend. The private dining room door is slightly ajar. I can hear Caleb's voice. Premium seafood and organic produce orders are simply unsustainable at our current scale. I quietly open the door. At the table sit Marcus, our fishmonger of 8 years, and Eleanor, whose family farm has provided our produce since before I joined. Both look confused. We'll be transitioning to a supplier with nationwide distribution, Caleb says, sliding glossy folders across the table. We can cut costs by 40%. Marcus protests. But Chef Jovi specifically chose our products because. That's not true. My voice cuts through the room. All three turn. Color drains from Caleb's face. I enter the room. I close the door behind me. Did you check the customer satisfaction surveys, Caleb? Food quality is the #1 reason for visits. What I built over 3 years. Jovi, this is a management decision. Be quiet. My voice is ice cold. Marcus, Eleanor, I personally guarantee your contracts. At my new restaurant, Marcus and Eleanor exchange glances. Then they nod simultaneously. We want to work with you, chef, Marcus says. Not this restaurant. Caleb stands. His face turns bright red. Get out. Now. I leave the room with both suppliers. In the hallway, Eleanor touches my arm. Jovi, are you really opening a new place? Yes, I answer. And I want to build it with you. For the first time in my life, I fully understand my own worth. My apartment kitchen has become a battlefield of creativity. The counter is scattered with recipe notes, supplier contracts, business plans. For the past 2 weeks, every night in this cramped space, I've been designing my future. At 2 p.m., Daniel knocks. He's Riverside Embers' sous chef, my most trusted ally. Come in, I call out. He enters carrying a large envelope. This is what you asked for, he says, handing it over. Customer review analysis from the past 3 years, plus signed recommendation letters from the kitchen staff. I open the envelope. 15 letters. From cooks, dishwashers, waiters, everyone I've worked with. When the new place opens, I want to come with you, Daniel says. The other staff feel the same. We can't work under Caleb. Tears well up in my eyes. Thank you, Jovi, he says seriously. You were the heart of that restaurant. Without you, it's just a building. After he leaves, I open my laptop. I start writing an email to Sarah Chen, the food and beverage director at West Shore Grand Hotel. Dear Ms. Chen, I'm writing regarding the recent catering proposal. I'm Jovi Morgan. I worked at Riverside Embers for 11 years. I developed the award-winning menu you tasted. I'm now going independent. I'm opening a new restaurant called Jovi's Hearth. If you're still interested in the original proposal, authentic flavors without compromising quality, I'd love to discuss this personally. Before hitting send, I take a deep breath. This isn't just a business email. This is a bet on myself. Click. Send. 20 minutes later, a reply arrives. Dear Jovi, I've been waiting to hear from you. Can we meet tomorrow at 10 a.m.? What we wanted was your cooking, not a building or brand name. I look forward to it. Sarah Chen. I stare at the screen. I smile quietly. The bet has just begun. The next morning, in West Shore Grand Hotel's luxurious office, Sarah Chen carefully reviews my portfolio. Photos of every dish I've created. Customer reviews. The original proposal I spent 6 months developing. This is wonderful, she says. But let me ask honestly, why are you leaving your family's restaurant? I hesitate for a moment, but I decide to tell the truth. My family believes my brother understands business better than I do, because he has an MBA. They chose his degree over my 11 years of proven results. Sarah raises an eyebrow. So you're leaving to show them what they lost? No, I answer clearly. I'm leaving for myself, not for revenge. To build something I truly care about. She smiles with satisfaction. That's the answer I wanted to hear. She leans forward. Actually, Jovi, to be honest, we wanted to contract with you personally from the start. I look at her in surprise. What do you mean? 6 months ago, when I first tasted your food, Sarah explains, I was certain. This person is the partner we're looking for. She opens a file, shows me her notes. My name is underlined. Consider direct negotiation with this individual is written there. But you weren't the representative of your family's restaurant, so we had no choice but to proceed with negotiations with Riverside Embers. I catch my breath. So when my brother canceled the contract, we were actually relieved. Sarah smiles. When we heard you went independent, we saw it as an opportunity. She takes out a new contract, $500,000 instead of the original $850,000. Because this is a contract with you personally. not with a restaurant. It's an investment in your name, your reputation, your cooking. She looks into my eyes. If it succeeds, and I'm confident it will, we'll offer double next year. Within 5 years, you could be the signature chef for a national chain. My heart pounds. This isn't just a contract. This is a true partnership with people who recognize my value. I take a deep breath. I extend my hand. I accept. The moment we shake hands, I realize my life has completely changed. 10 days after signing the contract, I walk down the street, thinking about next steps, funding, securing a location, building a team. My smartphone buzzes. A message from Daniel. Emergency. Caleb is gathering all kitchen staff to announce a new menu. You should see this. I stop. Should I go back? No, it's not my battlefield anymore. But curiosity wins. Coming, I reply. 30 minutes later, I slip quietly through Riverside Embers' back entrance. Staff are gathered around Caleb. He's distributing copies of a new menu. I hide in the shadows. I listen. This is our new efficiency menu. Caleb says proudly. We'll cut food costs by 40% and reduce cooking time by half. One of the chefs, Thomas, raises his hand. But this won't maintain the quality of Jovi's recipes. Jovi's recipes are overrated, Caleb declares. Customers can't tell the difference. What matters is profit margin. My blood boils, but I don't move. Instead, I take out my smartphone. I start recording. This arrogance will destroy him someday. I'm documenting that moment. 5 minutes later, I quietly leave. I've gathered enough evidence. 5 days after the West Shore contract, my parents pay an unexpected visit. The apartment doorbell rings. I open it. Dad and Mom stand there with serious expressions. Come in, I say. They sit in the living room. They look around uncomfortably. Jovi, Dad begins. We need to talk. About what? About this ridiculous new restaurant plan, Mom says. You're making a mistake. I cross my arms. Why do you think it's a mistake? You're abandoning the family business to start from scratch, Dad explains. Riverside Embers has 15 years of history. Brand recognition. Why throw that away? Because, I say quietly, it's not my brand. I want to build something of my own. Mom shakes her head. But what if you fail? You'll lose all your savings. That's my risk, I answer. My choice. Dad stands. Jovi, be realistic. You're a wonderful chef, but you have no experience as a business owner. True, I admit, but I'll learn. And I have something you never gave me. Belief in myself. Silence. You're too stubborn, Mom finally says. No, I correct. I just know my worth, and I refuse to compromise it. They exchange glances. Then they leave. The sound of the door closing feels like a final separation. But I have no regrets. 3 days after signing the contract, my phone rings. It's Michelle, the investor. Jovi, I have bad news. My heart sinks. What? My business partner is opposed to investing in your project. I sink into a chair. Why? Your father apparently called him. Anger seeps into Michelle's voice. Said it's high risk, that you lack experience. That family conflict will damage your reputation. I clench my fists. They're trying to stop me, not just letting go. Actively sabotaging. Michelle, wait, she interrupts. I'm not giving up. I'll convince my partner, but it will take time. 2 weeks, maybe 3. The warehouse contract expires in 1 week, I say, suppressing my anxiety. If I don't pay the deposit, I'll lose the location. Silence. Other options? I take a deep breath. Professor Roberts. But his investment capacity is small. It won't cover everything. What about the Women Entrepreneurs Fund? The application process takes a month. We are both silent. Then I make a decision. Michelle, I'm declining your investment. What? But I don't want to damage your business relationship. Besides, I smile. I have another way. After hanging up, I check my bank account. The funds I've saved over 11 years. $1,500,000. Originally meant for buying a house. Add Professor Roberts' $50,000, plus my credit card limit of $20,000. I can somehow start. The risk is high. If I fail, I'll lose everything. But if I don't take risks, I gain nothing. I call Professor Roberts. Professor, I need to talk. The next day, in Professor Roberts' office, I spread out my business plan. He peers through his reading glasses at the numbers. He nods repeatedly. Excellent, he finally says. You were always my best student. Now you're becoming the best entrepreneur. He writes a check, $50,000. No interest. Just pay me back when you succeed. Tears swell up in my eyes. Professor. Jovi. He takes my hand. I've taught young chefs for 40 years. People with your talent and determination are a rare handful. He smiles. This isn't an investment. This is a bet on the future I believe in. That night, I pay the warehouse deposit. My savings account balance is dangerously low, but I have no regrets. This is the most important bet of my life. I stand in an empty space in an old warehouse building. High ceilings, exposed brick walls, natural light streaming through large windows. Perfect. I want to lease this, I tell the real estate agent. Excellent choice, he smiles. But honestly, there are 3 other applicants. I pull documents from my envelope. This is loan approval from the bank. I can sign immediately. His eyes widen. That's very quick. I'm prepared, I say. I want to start the next chapter of my life in this space. 1 hour later, I sign the contract. The warehouse is mine. I take out my smartphone. I message Daniel. Found the place. Sending address. Come see anytime. The reply is instant. Coming now. That evening, Daniel, Marcus, and Eleanor visit my new space. I can't believe it. Daniel says, looking around. You're really making this your own restaurant. Our restaurant. I correct. All of you made this possible. Marcus laughs. We just deliver fish, chef. No, I say seriously. You believed in me. That's worth far more than delivering fish. Eleanor places her hand on my shoulder. We've watched your journey from the beginning. We are excited to see you succeed. We stand in the center of the warehouse. We look at the space filled with possibilities. Kitchen there, I point. Open kitchen. So diners can see the cooking process. Bar here, Daniel suggests. Featuring local wines and craft beers. And here, a wood-fired oven. I can't contain my excitement. For homemade bread and roasted vegetables. We talk for hours. We plan. We share dreams. Even after midnight. No one wants to leave. This space has nothing yet, but it's already filled with possibilities. 3 weeks after securing the location. After days spent amid construction, noise, and dust. Exactly 40 days since my termination. Kitchen equipment installation. Dining area interior design. Bar counter assembly. Every day, I stand on site. I work with craftsmen. I watch my vision take shape. Daniel and other former Riverside Embers staff announce they're joining one by one. Wherever Jovi goes, we go is their common sentiment. We develop new menus. We repeat trials. We pursue perfection. King crab with tangerine glaze is, of course, the menu centerpiece. But we add new dishes too. Seasonal tarts using local ingredients. Homemade focaccia baked in the wood-fired oven. Sashimi platters using Marcus's finest seafood. Everything reflects my philosophy. Quality. Creativity. Heartfelt hospitality. I'm supervising the hood ventilation installation. Dad, Mom, and Caleb appear. I catch my breath at their appearance. Dad's suit is wrinkled. His once perfectly groomed hair is disheveled. Mom has deep circles under her eyes. Her makeup can't hide them. And Caleb. That arrogant Caleb has slumped shoulders. His gaze remains on the floor. Jovi. Dad calls out. His voice trembles. I turn around. I tell the workers to take a break. I guide my family to an empty corner. What do you want? I intentionally keep my voice calm. Dad places a stack of documents on the table. Bank collection notices. Bridge loan rejection notices. And my eyes widen. A foreclosure notice. Riverside Embers will close in 2 weeks. Dad's voice cracks. The bank is seizing the building. Mom steps forward. Tears in her eyes. Please, Jovi. We were wrong. Come back. Without you. How much did you lose? I interrupt. Caleb answers. Still looking at the floor. We lost the $850,000 contract. 70% of regular customers left. Monthly losses hit $120,000. Our savings are depleted. I cross my arms. So roughly $400,000 in losses over 3 months. And now, what do you expect from me? We want you back, Dad pleads. On your terms. CO. Whatever. We'll double your salary. I shake my head. This isn't about money. Then what? Mom persists. We're apologizing. What do you need? I take a deep breath. I need you to understand. This isn't just a job choice. This is my life. I gesture toward the window. Look, that's my restaurant. My vision. The reason I wake up every morning. Caleb raises his face. At least give us some advice. I take out my smartphone. Advice? Really? I play the recording. Caleb's voice flows out. Jovi's recipes are overrated. Customers can't tell the difference. What matters is profit margin. The room falls silent. Caleb's face turns ashen. You heard that? I recorded it. I show the screen. There are others. You calling my expertise, playing artist, dad saying daughters can't handle management. Mom's hand covers her mouth. But we just spoke your truth. I say quietly. And now I'll speak mine. I approach them. Part of me wants to help them. This is the home I grew up in. The restaurant my grandfather started. A place filled with memories. But another part of me, the stronger part, knows better. If I give in here, I'll become their convenient daughter again. Listen. My voice trembles, but my resolve doesn't waver. You made choices. You chose Caleb's MBA over my 11 years of proven results. You chose his theories over my practical knowledge. You chose your son over your daughter. Dad tries to speak. I raise my hand to stop him. And now you must face the consequences. That's adult responsibility. I turn. I walk toward the kitchen under construction. Next week, the hood ventilation gets installed. We're creating a 12-seat chef's counter. We're starting a wine program featuring local wineries. And we're putting a wood-fired oven there. I continue without waiting for their response. This is my choice. My future. And I turn to face them. Something you can never take away again. The front door chimes. Delivery men enter carrying a large package. Delivery for Jovi Morgan. Perfect timing. The men unwrap it. A hand-hammered copper sign appears. Jovi's hearth. They hold it up against the exposed brick wall, above where the dining room entrance will be. The afternoon light catches it. Soft copper glows. My name. My restaurant. My future. You'll lose everything. Caleb's voice trembles. I turn to face them. I already did. My voice is quiet but holds firm strength. 11 years of work. My family's trust. My place. I look up at the copper sign. But what I found is far greater. As they leave with slumped shoulders, I stand in the center of my new kitchen. Satisfaction washes over me like a wave. This isn't revenge. This is liberation. 2 weeks later, Daniel forwards me an email. Subject. Thought you should see this. Attached is an article from the local business magazine. Historic restaurant Riverside Embers faces financial crisis. As I read, the severity of the situation becomes clear. Loss of $850,000 from West Shore contract cancellation. 68% of regular customers stopped visiting after new menu introduced. Yelp rating dropped from 4.5 stars to 2.1 stars. 3 senior chefs resigned. 2 suppliers stopped doing business due to unpaid bills. Monthly losses reached $120,000. Cumulative losses exceeded $400,000. Bank rejected bridge loan application. The article quotes an anonymous employee. Everything collapsed after Jovi left. Everyone realizes she was the heart of the restaurant. Another attachment shows online review screenshots. Never going back. The taste is completely different. Where is Chef Jovi? I miss her cooking. What is management thinking? Quality has completely dropped. They ruined a wonderful restaurant. So disappointing. I stare at the screen. Complex emotions hit me. Part of me feels they got what they deserved. But another part, a softer part, feels sadness. The restaurant my grandfather started is collapsing. 3 missed calls from Mom today alone. I'm still not ready to answer. Too much to do. Too much at stake. 2 weeks after the new restaurant opening. After soft opening, on the night of the official opening, I weave between tables filled with food critics, loyal former customers, industry friends. The kitchen hums with the beautiful chaos I created, executing my vision precisely as I imagined. Near closing, I emerge for a final greeting round. I spot her, my mother, sitting alone at a corner table. a half-finished plate of my king crab with tangerine glaze before her. Our eyes meet across the room. For the first time in months, I see something beyond disappointment and manipulation. Recognition. 6 months after leaving Riverside Embers, the copper saucepan sings against the flame. I reduce the tangerine glaze, no longer needing to justify tripling the fresh fruit, or the splash of bourbon I add on instinct. Behind me, 3 line cooks move with practiced precision. Their knives flash as they prep for tonight's service. "Chef, we are ready for the tasting menu review," Daniel calls. Now my executive sous chef, rather than just an ally in a kitchen that never truly valued either of us. I nod. I allow myself a moment to admire the gleaming expanse of Jovi's hearth. My restaurant, my vision, my rules. The fall menu changes. I've planned to celebrate local harvests, rather than compromising with frozen substitutes Caleb would have insisted upon. Seasonal rotation has become our hallmark, drawing praise from critics who once barely knew Riverside Embers existed. "Coming," I answer. I wipe my hands on my apron. I move toward the prep station, where Zoe, a culinary student I've taken under my wing, anxiously awaits my verdict on her sauce work. "The consistency is perfect," I tell her, remembering how my mother once dismissed my first reduction as too fussy. "Now tell me why you chose thyme instead of rosemary." Her explanation shows promise. This is how mentorship should feel. Not dismissal dressed as guidance, but genuine investment in someone's growth. Later, my phone buzzes with another reservation request. We're booked solid through December. Food critics from Chicago and New York are requesting tables. National press attention has turned our corner of Portland into a destination, vindicating every sleepless night spent perfecting recipes in my tiny apartment kitchen. After leaving my family's restaurant, the afternoon mail brings an envelope from the American Culinary Federation. Inside, an invitation to next month's award ceremony. Jovi's Hearth is nominated for Restaurant of the Year. That day at Riverside Embers, I stood clutching an award. I realized my family's betrayal. 1 year later, this time in my own restaurant, in my own name, I'll receive this honor. When the announcement comes at the gala, I don't drop a plaque in shock like last time. Instead, I accept it with steady hands, the spotlight warm on my face. I thank my team by name: Daniel, Eleanor, who still supplies our produce, Marcus, whose seafood makes our signature dishes possible, and every cook who believed enough to follow me. Success isn't just about proving others wrong, I tell the audience, my voice carrying confidence I've earned through fire. It's about proving yourself right. The venue erupts in applause. Camera flashes blink, but I'm searching for one face in the audience, and I find it. Mom is sitting in the back. Tears stream down her cheeks. Our eyes meet, and she smiles. A proud smile. For the first time. Truly. Back at the restaurant, we gather after closing. Eleanor brings champagne. Marcus proudly displays the first advanced copy of my cookbook. Daniel uncorks the bottle with a satisfying pop. He fills glasses around our family table, the one where staff meals are shared, not where decisions are dictated. To building something that truly reflects who we are, I toast. Not who others think we should be. Their glasses rise in response. Light catches the bubbles inside. Thomas laughs. "Chef, remember? 1 year ago today, you received the award at Riverside Embers." I nod. That day, I learned my family betrayed me. But look, Zoe points out the window. Now you have a real family. Us. My throat tightens. She's right. Blood doesn't make family. Trust and respect and shared dreams make family. And the people in this room are my true family. Late that night, after everyone has gone home, I stand alone in the dining room. The copper sign softly reflects the streetlight. Jovi's Hearth. 1 year ago, I dropped a trophy on the floor. I watched my world collapse. But actually, I understand now. That wasn't collapse. That was liberation. The moment the chains binding me were broken. The first step toward becoming myself. My smartphone buzzes. A message from Mom. "Congratulations on the award. I'm proud of you." I stare at the screen for a long time. Then I reply, "Thank you." Just that. Someday, there may come a day when we exchange more words. A day when we can rebuild our family relationship. But today, this is enough. I proved myself. Not to my family. To myself. And that's what matters most. I go to the prep station. I begin tomorrow's prep work. I zest a tangerine. I check the aroma. Perfect. The kitchen door opens. Daniel peeks in. Still working? Prepping for tomorrow. I smile. We are fully booked. You never rest. This isn't work, I say. This is my life. He nods. He leaves. I focus again on the tangerine. The knife rhythmically zests the peel. The copper pot warms. Butter begins to melt. Aroma fills the kitchen. In this moment, this quiet, perfect moment, I'm completely happy. The awards, the success, the recognition. Of course, they're wonderful. But true happiness is this: the freedom to be myself, the joy of living by my own choices, and the strength to know my worth doesn't depend on others' approval. I pour the glaze into the pot. I watch the flames dance. 1 year ago, I lost everything, but at the same time, I gained everything. Outside the window, Portland quietly settles into sleep. My city, my restaurant, my life, and this is only the beginning. Jovi overcame her past and took a new step forward. Do you know anyone who bounced back from an unfair situation? Share this video and inspire someone. If your family betrayed you and then came asking for help, what would you do? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.